Right, everyone. So today we are going to be doing the world's most unfair and biased comparison between Kokomi and Barbara. And with me, I've got my volunteers Zhongli and Raiden Shogun, and which we will use to illustrate some things. So first off, let's quickly look at Kokomi, the sort of standard build that you can see right here. We've got her weapon and then her artifact. So what I will do is I will give Barbara exactly Kokomi's artifacts and weapons, and then we will do like a comparison side by side. Both Kokomi and Barbara are going to be at talent level 11 for this comparison, and then both are going to be at C6. However, just take note that Kokomi's C6 doesn't do any healing. This one only means we can get like talent level 11, like on her E ability, so that's not really going to be anything worth. This only applies to Nerite Ascension, so that's not going to apply to her Jellyfish Healing. This only applies to Nerite Ascension. This only applies to your like damage that you do. So the only thing we need to adjust for is her C2, which does a bit more healing. And that will then allow us to sort of get a comparative understanding between how Kokomi would do, let's say at C0, a properly built Kokomi versus a Barbara. And then what I will do is I'll give Barbara even better artifacts that's more suited to increasing her healing, and then we can see what the comparisons are. So first off, we'll just see what the jellyfish can do for Zhongli, and let's just see how quickly we can heal him up. So in about like 3 ticks, we can do the sort of like almost get him up to full health. And effectively, if you work this back down, you saw like the 8,200 number. Let's assume it's going to be like 7,000 on a free-to-play level because you have like less healing bonus. And that'll effectively take about four-ish like jellyfish ticks in order to, let's say 5 jellyfish ticks in order to heal up our Zhongli. And in order to get 5 jellyfish ticks, that would then be the entire skill duration of Kokomi. So let us now go on to Barbara and see exactly what we can do with her. So right in front of your eyes, we're going to be swapping out everything, all the artifacts, all the healing. So this will be quite fair. Let's just see where's Kokomi. It's going to equip that. There's the feather. There's the HP sands. Now, some people might say, well, we can't apply a hydro damage bonus here like we did with Kokomi, so let us stick with HP percentage. So let's just make this better for Barbara than what we did with Kokomi. So just to be very clear, I'm not using Kokomi's hydro damage bonus cup. I'm giving Barbara an additional HP percentage cup. So that puts Barbara's health just shy of Kokomi's, and I mean that's expected because a 4-star typically does not have the amount of like base HP as a 5-star. And let's quickly replace Barbara with Kokomi. And let's see what we can do. So here's Melody Loop. And let's see and wait. Okay, so that's about 6,000. There we go. So in a span of about 15 seconds, we would not, with Barbara, given the same talent level, given the exact same equipment Kokomi has, given an additional HP artifact, I didn't even put in the Hydro Damage Cup, our Barbara heals way slower than Kokomi does. And I know a lot of people are going to say, aha, but Barbara's got a Q and you didn't use a Q ability, and that is absolutely true. But consider just for a practical like situation what happens. In an actual combat situation, if your Raiden Shogun is busy on the field doing her damage, you would have to swap onto Barbara. You'd have to swap out of her elemental burst into Barbara's elemental burst just to keep her up. And that's going to be really unoptimal because then you're not building all the energy recharge for your own elemental burst and for your team. So that is quite problematic. The other thing is with the current Spiral Abyss, the enemies attack like continuously, especially if you look like at floor 3. So healing everyone up like in a full burst means that they're still going to be taking damage. So what you'd rather want is a situation like Kokomi, where you can effectively pump out like more healing at a faster rate. So Kokomi's jellyfish ticks every 2 seconds as opposed to every 5 seconds. So you get like on a free-to-play level, like your 7k healing, or let's say even it's going to be the equivalent of Barbara's 6 point whatever k healing. You're going to get that at a rate that is 2.5 times faster than you're going to get with Barbara. And that is way more important because your entire team doesn't consist of a Zhongli that has like a massive HP pool that you need to heal up. Most of your damage dealers will have 17 or like 18 to 20k healing sort of HP. So obviously having a stronger healing effect is going to be worth more. Right, everyone, so in this section, let us look at a couple of practical examples of Kokomi versus the Raiden Shogun. So what you'll see on screen is I'm just sort of taking damage, but regardless of me taking damage or not, I'm being fully healed up by Kokomi's jellyfish, which is really awesome. And now the next question is going to be, once my Raiden Shogun's like done with her elemental burst, what's going to happen? Well, Kokomi is going to step in and actually do like a lot of damage, but you can see here the enemy is not giving me a chance. They're hitting me, and despite the fact that we've took a lot of damage, we can just heal up very comfortably. So you can see much, I think people have called Kokomi like a bit of a comfort character, and you can see why. And this is just incredibly comfy. You don't need any insane mechanics. And if you guys are wondering, I did clear this with Kokomi like very fast in one of my other videos. So this is more just of a like typical average run. So I'm just sort of deliberately showing things, whereas if I had to play like normally, I'd be way more aggressive. So you can see in this next instance with the Raiden Shogun, we are essentially dealing damage, and we can just continue dealing damage because we don't need to worry about the enemy hitting us. And even if Kokomi's jellyfish is offline and we are forced to swap off, then we don't get a real damage loss, because you can see, look at the numbers that that Kokomi is effectively doing. They're quite a lot, and now we've already got Raiden Shogun back online, and there's no real DPS loss. It's gone really quickly. My personal best time on this floor is about 920 with Raiden and Kokomi, but that was just sort of like to illustrate the point. What you'll see now with Barbara and the Raiden Shogun is just to sort of, I think in this first part we're going to see how well Barbara can tank. So here you can see her melody loop like very barely like keeps us up. If one of the enemies had been close or didn't teleport, we could have certainly gone down. But now I want to sort of like show you what happens if Barbara is in the exact same circumstance like Kokomi earlier. You can see here she just gets like a lot of damage, and unfortunately, because there's no jellyfish, because her cooldowns are so long, we effectively die. So our tanking ability is considerably less. In this sort of rerun, you'll see here that we are going to use Barbara C6, since a lot of people say, well, you know, at least the character can revive, but you'll see what the downsides are to using Barbara C6. So here's our Raiden Shogun. We've got the melody loop active, we're taking damage, we're hitting the enemy, and we died. So we lost our elemental burst, but hey, at least we can come back to life with full health. But you can see the enemy is already sort of taking us already down back to half health. So you might wonder, why do I have sucrose here? Well, this was just to act as a battery for Raiden Shogun and to clear the first floor a bit quicker, since it's not as comfortable as with Kokomi. So this is just going to help us rebuild our elemental burst and so on. I'm running the same Barbara build that I did show you guys earlier. So now we can finally damage the enemies and hit them, and we can take this guy out. We can go full ham, and you can see here we've almost lost all our health again, and there's melody loop, so I had to swap off because one additional hit and we would have died from the enemy. So you can see here now how that slow tick rate essentially influences like our DPS, and already we are way behind Kokomi in terms of the clock. So yeah, and in the downtime, look, Barbara's not really doing any damage. Yes, she can heal up the Raiden Shogun, but her damage contribution is not that great. So when you play Barbara, a healing Barbara, you are sacrificing damage. You've got to choose. And that's the thing. If you also want a damaging Barbara, you can't tank as well because your health pool is going to be a lot less. So hopefully this now sort of makes sense in the context of Kokomi being such a strong role compressor, because she can do all those things very comfortably. You can see it is on screens my failed attempt at doing a bit of an electro shred, because I just want to get this floor over with. But even then, look at how much damage we're taking with the Raiden Shogun. And even though Melody Loop is active, we've got to like step out to avoid damage. And here Barbara is not really, she's doing air basically. It's mostly the Raiden Shogun's ability that's doing the bulk of the damage. Here we're going to damage the enemy again, and you'll see now during the downtime, like when Raiden Shogun's finished, Barbara is not really contributing anything. So this is what I mean when I talked about like Kokomi versus Barbara. And yeah, that's it guys, that's it for the video. Have a good day. Cheers.